reading the book of Proverbs. You should be reading the book of Proverbs every day. The book of Proverbs is the source of wisdom, and we need wisdom desperately. All Christians need God's wisdom, and wisdom is truly only found in the Bible. But there is a book of wisdom in the Bible, and that book of wisdom is the book of Proverbs. So you need to study the book of Proverbs. Most of the Proverbs in the book of Proverbs are simple one-verse sayings. And so you can just spend time just thinking about one verse in the book of Proverbs, and you can meditate upon it all day long. And you should memorize verses from the book of Proverbs, and you'll find yourself getting wisdom. But a lot of the first 10 chapters and the last chapter have to do with 3 metaphorical women. And so you need to know this before you start studying the book of Proverbs. So the first woman in the book of Proverbs is found in chapter 1, and starts in verse 20, and her name is wisdom itself. So the first metaphorical woman in the book of Proverbs is wisdom. In chapter 1 verse 20 of Proverbs, it says, "Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She cries in the chief place of the concourse, in the openings of the gates, in the city she uttereth her words, saying, How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit upon you. I will make known my words unto you." So here we see that this metaphorical woman called wisdom literally is the wisdom of God. It's a symbol of the wisdom of God. And so, this verses are telling us that God is desperate for us to have wisdom because we are so foolish. And we love our foolishness rather than loving wisdom. And wisdom is available. It's available from this book. If we would just do what it says here, and we would delight in it and study it, we would have knowledge. And a lot of times, the knowledge you gain from the book of Proverbs is at its reproof, at its criticism. So the Bible is a book of reproof. In fact, in 2 Timothy 3:15, where it defines what the Bible is, or 2:15 rather, it says that the Bible is for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, and for direction in righteousness. And so, most importantly, we need to be reproved. We're going the wrong direction. Every day we go the wrong direction. And we need somebody to tell us what direction we need to go rather than the direction we're going, and that's what the Bible provides. So, the first woman is wisdom itself. The second woman is found in chapter 5. And in chapter 5, we read this starting in verse 3. It says in Proverbs 5, verse 3, "For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell, lest thou shouldest ponder at the path of life. Her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them. Hear me now, therefore, O you children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house. Lest thou give thine honor unto others, and thy years unto the cruel. Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth, and thy labors be in the house of a stranger. And thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed. And say, How have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined mine ear to them that instructed me." So here we have the second metaphorical woman in Proverbs, and in verse 3 she is called the strange woman. The strange woman, or as one of the famous pop songs, I think it was from the Electric Light Orchestra in the 1970s, Wicked Woman. And this literally is a wicked woman, the strange woman. And so what does the strange woman do? Well, first of all, she is an adulteress, and she uses seduction to bring people to follow her. And she is the opposite of wisdom. She is the one trying to get you to fulfill the desires of your heart, the desires of your emotions. Because that's what we do, right? Whatever our emotions tell us, that's what we do. That's why we're so foolish. That's why we make bad decisions, is we listen to the strange woman. And who is the strange woman? Well, of course, it's Satan. Satan is the one who came into the garden and deceived Eve. And so every day one of Satan's envoys, the demons, comes into our life to get us to get excited in our emotions, to do things that are not wise. And so the strange woman. So you're either listening to wisdom, which of course is the Bible itself. The Bible is the source of all wisdom. Or you're denying it and you're turning to the strange woman who's getting you to fulfill the lusts of your flesh. The final woman in Proverbs is in Proverbs 31, and she is called the woman in chapter 31 here. She is called, now my mind has gone blank. What is she called here? The virtuous woman. Proverbs 31 verse 10 says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he have no need of her spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life." So I believe that the virtuous woman is what all women are to seek to attain toward, but you know, a lot of these things, no woman is going to be able to accomplish all these items. But ultimately, metaphorically, this woman represents the godly group who follows him. And this godly group, of course, is the church. The church is the virtuous woman. And Jesus basically told us that, talking so much about the wedding that's about to come, the wedding of the bridegroom with the bride. And the bride is the church. The church is a metaphorical virtuous woman. And Jesus wants to marry his bride, and he wants a virgin bride. And so, you know, the more we follow the Lord, the more we listen to his wisdom, the more we become a virtuous person. You know, you don't have to be a woman, obviously, to be in the church, but the woman itself, the church is represented as a woman in Scripture. So, we need you to understand those three metaphorical women in Proverbs. We have the woman of wisdom, we have the strange woman, and we have the virtuous woman. So you're either listening to the woman of wisdom or the strange woman, and if you are a true Christian, you are becoming part of the virtuous woman. So thank you for listening, and have a blessed day. Jesus bless those who listened, I ask, in Jesus' most holy name.